let's start letting everybody in, and we'll give everybody a chance to get in here and get settled in. Our kind of 8:30 start time has kind of become the 8:32 start time, so everybody can come in and get settled in. Good morning, everybody. If you weren't here last week, happy 2021 again. Hi, Helen. Hey, Craig.
Lydia is with us today.
Good morning. Mary. All right, we'll give it just another minute or so. And we'll go ahead and roll. I was having some technical difficulties this morning. A few of them may have been self-imposed as far as getting rates out. We actually have our today's rates have not come out from Corp yet, so I suspect that they're still digesting the bond movements from yesterday and last night. I actually didn't get a chance to look at the bond market this morning. Let's see if there's anything crazy happening. My computer rebooted and shut down my trading platform. Yeah, we were some, I guess, last night. So I guess it was announced that Biden wants another $2 trillion of helicopter money. You know, how much of those helicopters are flying over the United States versus other countries is still to be. But yeah, so the bond market, inflation is the enemy of bonds. And so printing more money equals inflation, whether the Fed chooses to actually say those words or not. You know, economics 101, there's more money supply, cost of goods goes up. And that's the enemy of bonds, which means bond prices are gonna fall. And then that means rates are gonna go up. So I don't have this morning's rates for everybody. Let's start rolling. That's a good segue. And we'll let people trickle in as typical. So what I'm gonna do something a little bit different today. I'm gonna show you guys last week's rates. And then I'm going to show you verbally where we were at the close of business yesterday. So you kind of see the little bit of movement we've had in the past week. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. All right, are we good? Awesome, thank you. So this is our website, theloangeeks.com. Or loangeeks.com, either one will get you there. There's multiple ways you can find our rates. Like I've told you guys, these rates are updated at least once a day. They're done personally by me, so you know they're right, they're accurate, they're timely, all of that stuff. So you guys are always getting questions about rates. If you just want a good source that you can go out to real quick and see what rates are doing. Obviously, every lender's a little bit different in how they price things, but for the most part, we're all dealing with the same money. So it'll give you a really good feel where rates are at. And if you ever have a question about a specific situation, you know, because FICO scores and things like that have a big bearing on rates, you can always pick up the phone or shoot me an email and I can get you some specifics. So if you click on our, just right up here on the top menu, it will take you to our rate page, which looks like this. Like I said, this is last week's. Let me see if I can make that a little bit bigger. This is last week's rates. And just to give you a comparison between last week and this week, typically you don't see big explosion moves in either direction. It's just we start trending in a direction. And over the last month or so, we've been trending upward. So now we're at 2.5% here on the 15-year conventional at 0 points versus 2 3/8. And we've been bouncing around in there. I think you guys will recall just before we went into the holidays, we were 2.5%. Okay. We are still at 2.99%, but it's teetering. It's right on the point where it's getting ready to roll back into the threes. Obviously, I want to present the best rates possible on the site for a well-qualified borrower. It looks better with 2 in front, but we're really right on the edge there. A 30-year fixed FHA and 30-year fixed VA, those have gone up. Those are 2.875. And right now that's at 0 points. So they're still really good, a little bit below the conventional, which is historically typically the case for govies. The other thing is, if you recall, as we were working our way through the initial months of COVID, there's a lot of premium on the govies. So that premium is still gone. We're still, looks like we're out of the woods there for the time being, as far as a premium being built into those. But now those are an eighth higher. And then where we really saw some movement over this past week was here in the jumbos. Right now, we're looking at 3.25 on a jumbo loan. And that is, I believe that was at par yesterday when I was quoting that. It may have been at 1/4, but it was definitely noticeably higher. I was speculating because I was quoting a client. He was a little disappointed. He was waiting to lock. I'm simply speculating that because there's no government backing on those things, they have to sell them on the open market. And everything looks like we're going to start seeing some inflation, that there's some premium that's been built into those. So we're starting to see some movement in an upward direction. I suspect just short of something significant happening, we're going to kind of continue to see just that pressure. It's not going to be big incremental moves. It's going to be pressure in that direction. And so if you've got buyers and they've been sitting on the fence, I don't want to get out there and fight for homes because I heard it's really competitive, and they don't want to be disappointed by putting in multiple offers, and they need to get off the fence, because we could be looking at 3.5 by summer. And, oh boy, 3.5 on a 30-year fix, but they could have had 3. And that makes a difference in their buying power. And home prices are going to continue to appreciate as long as we have this shortage of supply. And then the other thing I was going to say related to pressure on jumbos, right? We just got the new loan limits for 2021, and a 30-year fixed conventional or 50, any conventionals now, 548, 250. And so I think that put a little pressure on those jumbos as well, because you can borrow more on the conventional side. So they put a little premium once you cross into that bigger threshold, at least temporarily. We'll see how that works out too. So that's where we're sitting on pricing. We can kind of roll in once we get into kind of the open Q&A and stuff about economic pressures and inflation and things like that, if you guys like.
Yeah, I do want to explore that a little bit. I know you and I talked off camera last week a little bit about the new regime coming into the White House and the strictly one party, pretty much the one party going in there and all the houses, both houses, and then the president. So that's going to change.
Yeah, and it's got nothing to do with politics. It's just policy.
Yeah, it is
policy discussion.
But you're right. I mean, the rates are going to, if they creep up. And I know I talked to somebody who went to a Tina Tambor thing, Cromford thing this week, and she said, if you've got buyers, there's buyers out there, don't wait. Prices are going to continue to go up and rates along with it. So it's, the perfect storm that way then too. If rates do trickle up, home prices keep going up, it's chasing your tail just a little bit for buyers out there, which is
you could see some people priced out of the market between prices going up and rates going up. The people who are on the lower tiers now, the bond programs are still out there. Those haven't gone away. They did initially with the CARES Act, but those have come back as well, and they seem to be fairly well funded right now. I'm not a big bond lender. I'll just admit that to you guys. I know a lot of realtors like, hey, do you do the bond loans? Yes, we do the bond loans. I'm personally not a big bond lender, so I can't always speak to the specifics of them, but I monitor them, and they are well funded right now for those folks that would need a little extra down payment money. But debt ratios are debt ratios, and the bond programs have nothing to do with that. So you could see some people on the lower tiers get priced out. Especially if you got buyers on the lower tier, you need to get them in there, get them fighting, and don't let them be afraid to offer over.
Can I say one thing? Some of them
You
are
may.
already priced out. Some of them are already priced out right now. They should have bought in 6 months ago or a year ago.
Absolutely. And the ones who are on that borderline, I hate to use this phrase, beggars can't be choosers, because I don't want to refer to them as beggars, but it's when you are stuck in that lower price tier, you may not be able to get in the neighborhood you want now. You may have a little further commute.
And it's not even that low. I have a handful of people right now that qualified a year ago or 6 months ago for about 325. There's nothing for 325. Now they have to go to 400,000 in the same area, and they're priced out. They can't do it. So they're
going out to Eastmark and stuff, right?
There isn't even anything in Eastmark. I just sold one in Eastmark and we closed, and it was 500,000 or 600,000. Crazy.
That's Chrisman and Signal Butte.
That's New Mexico.
Oh my goodness.
They're gonna have to go out to Florence. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
I'm looking at how many active listings we have right now. This isn't even single family. 5806 is what we have right now.
And is that Maricopa?
Mm-hmm.
Is that just Maricopa County?
It's it's the MLS Maricopa.
Gotcha. So yeah, I was talking to an agent this week. If you drop that just a single family, I want to say that number's high 3s, low 4s, which is crazy.
4146.
Yeah. I've never seen it like this before. It's crazy. I don't know if that's even 2 weeks worth of inventory. I think it's a week and a day or two worth of inventory.
Yeah. Well,
but
let's talk about that for a second. I mean, as a perfect segue into what I'm going to talk about here real quick. And I want to show you guys a couple things. And you know, I know you've seen this, those of you who've been on before, but I'm going to revisit this again. Are the market updates that we send out, the Altos reports, which are a little different than Cromford, but it's going to give you a really good idea of what's happening. I pulled up Phoenix just so we can take a quick look. Looking at median list price in Phoenix. This is all last week's stats, so I'll get the new ones on Monday, which I put together that little Monday report, and some of you on right now get that, I know. But you know, days on market, you've got even rents. I mean, we're talking about rents a lot. This week it's come up quite a bit. I don't know why, it just has. People renting, and I'm like, median rent in Phoenix is 1,800. I think in Chandler it's like 22 or something like that. It's
still supply and demand, Shane. You can't buy, you got to rent.
Yeah. The interesting thing, okay, you can track these, of course. You can see what's going on in this interactive when it's online like this. It's super interactive. Plus, you can share these reports if you ever wanted to throw them on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or email them out to your clients. You can print them out. But it's going to show you last week new inventory, what's sold, and you can see right here again how the inventory is just being devoured basically. It kind of leads into this. So I've taken these reports, and those of you who have been on here before have seen this. Kirk, can you see the?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
So
by the way, I need to get on your list of these.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to add you to it.
I Friday morning.
I don't think I have any lenders on this one. You'd be the first one. So, but real cool stuff here. So I've taken this every Monday. I do this little exercise when I get into the office, because I get the Altus reports in. I kind of carve them up like this, and then of course the regular market updates come out to you agents on Wednesdays. But I get to get in there just a little bit early, so I get to kind of see. I took all these cities here in the valley and some of the second home destinations up north just to look and see on one sheet what's going on. And you can see all the red here. Obviously, this is negative. But what I did notice this week, as opposed to say last week and the week before, it has slowed up a little bit. The numbers aren't quite as eye-popping as they have been to me. I looked at this. Okay, there's some big declines in Phoenix and Scottsdale, which have been continuous. I think I wrote out a little letter to the folks that get this thing, because I always put a little letter, but I put some of the stats when I started doing this thing, which was September 11th. 2020, I started putting this together, and Scottsdale was, well, hang on, maybe I can even bring it up and show it to you. But Scottsdale was like right around 1,000 or so worth. It's crazy how much has gone up. Phoenix the same way. Phoenix was like 1,300, and now it's at 8. You know, we're looking at 3 digits instead of 4 some of these places. But you can look at 7-day inventory or 7-day median list prices here, and then 90-day, which is more of a telltale, I think. 7-day very volatile, of course. 90-day not quite as volatile. So you can kind of see what's going on. And I talking to people about Queen Creek. I mean, 90-day median list price 576. That's pretty amazing. And the 7-day at 635. I mean, Queen Creek. I mean, it's nothing against Queen Creek, but it's amazing to watch. You know, 10 years ago, it was a ghost town, and now it's like booming. It's got the biggest median list prices in the Southeast Valley, by far. I mean,
Yeah, which makes no sense.
it really doesn't. It's just amazing to
sense.
me to see what's going on. I mean, Gilbert's at 537 and Chandler at 490, 494. Kind of amazing to watch, but you can see the same things happening down here. Outside of the second home destinations are just as inflated. Look at, I mean, Payson. I mean, 90-day at 730. I mean, I don't know what's going on at Payson, but why didn't I buy there? You know, seriously, it's really, it's exploded. Just amazing stuff. And you can see, you know, a lot of green, a little more green here in the, so homes are sitting a little bit longer. I know you and I talked, Kirk, and some other people I've been on before the end of the year about holidays and if homes would sit longer, if things would change. Well, they did, but now it looks like it's starting to, you know, go back a little bit. So there's still a lot of people coming in and buying up homes here. Obviously, we can see it now. It's interesting because the discussions I had this week, and we can segue this into regular, just talking about whatever, but you know, we're talking about first-time home buyers getting priced out. What about your move-up buyers? I mean, them too. Everybody's getting priced out. In California, you know, California money keeps coming in and buying. They have no qualms about home prices here at all.
No, because it's a bargain compared to the same house in California. I mean, obviously there's geographic anomalies too. Central Valley, more inland kind of things. There's maybe a little more comparison to Arizona, but yeah, in general, their money goes a lot further here for the same house.
Yeah. I talked to somebody last night actually, and we were talking about getting back to the new regime coming into the White House and everything. He talked about maybe more down payment assistance programs, stuff like that. But I'm like, okay, you're helping buyers, but there's nothing to buy. So great, you know, but great down payment assistance for what?
Well, but like I said, the down payment's only one part of the equation. Debt to income ratios are debt to income ratios, and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac aren't expanding those. They are what they are. So yeah, if you weren't able to save up money for a down payment, but most of the properties that's going to apply to, like Lydia said, there's not many of those. That's where the scarcity exists. You know, you're going to find stuff in the 4s and 5s, not a ton, granted, but those are getting on the market and they're churning. But where are you going to find something in the high 2s, low 3s?
And for those people that need that, unfortunately, you've got people coming in with cash, or they're taking out 401k.
Oh, yeah.
Investors, because the investors are desperate right now. I get probably 2 texts a day from investors asking if I have any properties coming up. So they're desperate. They're just as desperate as homeowners are.
Yeah, they want to get that pocket listing and get it before it ever even comes off the market. I know.
As Shane and I discussed, they need to be talking to the servicers, because obviously Open Door is buying properties from the servicers.
They must, because they can't compete.
They are. I work for a servicing company. They are all being bought by Open Door.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So it is, and agents don't realize they're sitting around lazy as ever. We need to tell so what's happening in the servicing industry is I am going out. So I started back, I mean, I've been with them for a while now, but back in like, nothing happened the first of the year because of all of COVID. And then all of a sudden, end of July, August came, and I was getting 2 or 3 like drive-by inspections because of COVID. You can't go into the house like, to do your BPOs and things like that. So I call them my drive-bys. I got to take 6 photos and write a report on what the property looks like. Well, it started out with 2 or 3 a week. Well, now I'm getting 2 or 3 a day. After this call, I am going out to Phoenix to do 2 of those inspections, and I'm waiting for a couple more to come in. So what's happening is I'm finding last week on Monday, I got 8 inspections and 2 BPOs in one day. And out of 8 inspections, I talked to 4 homeowners that happened to be out in their front yard. Normally, I'm not supposed to talk to them. And they said they had that they had sold the homes to Open Door. So I think what's happening is they are buying them in deed of lieu because the banks are being made whole. And what's happening is Open Door is not only screwing us, the agents, for trying to get these properties on the market, but they're screwing the homeowners because Open Door is taking their equity.
Equity.
And
Yeah.
they don't realize we have done a crappy job as real estate agents to educate our clients that even in this market, their crappy home can still get, whether it's an investor or whether it's a homeowner who's willing to put some sweat equity into it. They are selling it quickly to Open Door for less money just to make the banks whole. And we are all getting screwed.
Yeah, Shane and I have been talking about this all last year since we've been having these
It's happening.
meetings, and those are probably 90% are those forbearance people that they're starting to see that balance get bigger and bigger. They don't know how they're going to, when they come out of forbearance, they're going to resolve it, and then the Open Doors and the offer pads are preying on them.
Yep. And we, unfortunately, as real estate agents, have been we haven't done our job, because I look at it this way. Back in July, when I started getting these inspections again, because everything halted after the first of the year because of all the CARES Act, and you couldn't foreclose on these people, and then the mandate with the renters. So everything was literally stopped at the servicing side of things. So the only thing that was foreclosing were like probates and things like that, reverse mortgages for people that passed away. There wasn't a whole lot going on. Well, all of a sudden I started seeing all these inspections, and I started talking to my real estate friends saying, oh my gosh, there is going to be a flood of not like we did 10 years ago, but there will be more bank owned properties, REOs, and foreclosures. I literally had people laughing at me like I had 5 heads. They're like, there is no way someone would go through a foreclosure and lose their equity. People, I am seeing it today. They're giving up their equity because they have no clue that they have equity. And I can't do anything about it because I can't go after these properties because I work for the servicing company. Now Shane and I are trying to market to forbearances, but I'm telling you, real estate agents, this is an opportunity to go after a group, a neighborhood, and say, did you do a forbearance? Are you late on your payment? Do you need to get caught up? There's equity in your home. These people should keep their equity, even if they have to sell now and wait a year and rent, or try to take out 401k money to get themselves put back
Out
up,
of
so that
forbearance.
out of forbearance, so that they actually can do a refi, because they have to have 3 months of payments to get that refi done. But
Correct.
I'm telling you, I'm the only one talking about it, and I feel like I'm on my soapbox and nobody's listening to me.
Well, I'm glad you're here, Lydia, because you're not the only one talking about it. Shane and I have been talking about this because there's been that, hey, there's folks out there thinks we're going to get this flood of foreclosures. And it's like, well, the only people that make sense that would be going into foreclosure are the uneducated homeowners that don't know that they could sell their house today, even if they came on a down payment assistance program,
Exactly.
equity today, but they're unsophisticated and they're being preyed upon. The servicer doesn't care. The servicer just doesn't want to get caught holding the bag. So
They just want to be
deal with
made whole.
OfferPad.
Yep. And I will tell you, they are being bought up like crazy. I went after I discovered this about a week or two ago. I went back to some of the properties that I actually had. Guess what's in the front of their house? A for sale sign with open door. So I will tell you, those are all properties that we could be selling if we would just get off our lazy ass and start working our business. And
Well, let
I
me
am
ask you a
telling you,
question. Because we have been talking about this for over 6 months. How do we market to those people other than jumping in a car, putting a big speaker on the roof of the car, and driving through the neighborhoods going, if you're in forbearance, call
Yeah,
today.
like the Blues Brothers.
you know what?
Exactly.
So
You on the
Shane and
bike.
I've talked, yeah, so Shane and I've talked about this, and so have I've talked about it with a few other people that actually listen to me. I only had literally a handful of people. I had Shane and one other title gal who said, that doesn't sound crazy. I had one other lender that said, that doesn't sound crazy. My broker sees my paycheck coming in from my servicing company because I'm getting paid on sending doing these
PPOs.
drive-by inspections. And she's like, I go, am I crazy? Because I literally, people are looking, agents are looking at me like, Lydia, nobody's going to go into foreclosure. People have equity. Well, I go, my broker said, well, Lydia, obviously these things are popping up and they've got to be forbearances, right? I mean, not all of them, but some of them are forbearances. Some of them are just people who've lost their jobs. So Shane and I were talking yesterday that this is another thing too, is so I have two friends that work in the airline industry. And if you don't think that now people are going to start losing their jobs, and I'm not talking about because it's a new regime in the White House, but what I am saying is, so for a year, these people have been paid. I have a friend that is a airline. He is a flight attendant, and he's got a wife and 5 kids, and he has literally been on call since March of last year, getting full pay, full benefits, and has not flown at all this year, at all. So they have a wine party every November, and they still had it even with COVID. I went to it and I said to Ryan, I said, so how's it going in your industry? Because nobody's flying right now, right? And he said, oh my gosh, Liddy, he goes, our industry is a union industry. I said, yes, I do know that. He said, well, this was in November. So he said, we just got an email from our union saying, after the first of the year, you will start seeing layoffs and there's nothing we can do about it. So the union, you pay the union to save you from losing your job, right? Well, if it was only 1 or 2 people losing their job, yes, the union would help you. But when they are doing a mass exodus of getting rid of people, the union isn't going to be able to save you. So that's one of them. The second gal is I do a mastermind group on Mondays with a group of agents in other states for probate stuff. And one of those agents in Colorado, before she got into real estate, she used to be a flight attendant with corporate jets. So these are people with higher end money that rent jets, and these flight attendants come on and they're like 5-star service, right? So she got out of it, but her friend is still in it. Her friend just got laid off. And we were just discussing this on Monday. And I said, so what's going to happen? So Monday I go to Costco, whole nother thing, go to Costco for a couple things. The guy in front of me is talking to the guy who's checking us out. And he's like, yeah, I retired with United Airlines like a year ago, he said, and I'm in a good situation. And the guy that was checking us out from Costco just got his job at Costco and was a flight attendant at Southwest. And he's like, yeah, he goes, I had to get another job because he goes, I'm so afraid we're going to get let go. Here I am thinking to myself as I'm going through Costco. Now you've got people that are literally going through So you've got these people that were making 80, 90, $100,000 a year that are going to take the $15 an hour jobs just to get into something. So all of those people that have not gone and gotten a job this year, like our high school students or college students, they're going to be out of a job because they're going to take someone that's more responsible, that's 40 years old, that was in the corporate world, than a high school student or a college student. So I don't know how to market to these people other than sending out letters, going to neighborhoods, knocking on doors, and calling people. Shane can get you a list of phone calls of phone people, and you can just call them and say, hey, if you or someone you know did a forbearance, there's equity in your home. We have a shortage of inventory. We need these homes on the market. What do you plan on doing with your property if you went, because forbearances never went through the title companies and they didn't get recorded. So there's no way, it's only an agreement between you, the homeowner, and you, the bank, so, or the servicing company. So there's no way to market to these people other than just old fashioned, take a neighborhood and get a letter out and say, do you or someone you know do a forbearance? I'm here to help. Did you know you can make money on your home? And then let's figure out what we're going to do with you. If that means, a short-term rental before you go out and buy again, or maybe stay in a rental for a year or move in with a family member. I will tell you, there's multiple options for these people right now. Instead of sending them to the servicing company and doing a deed in lieu so that the bank gets hold, but the homeowner loses their equity. That's what's happening.
Well, exactly. And that was you you summed up 6 months worth of discussions we've been having here, which is, even if these people are laid off, they can take their equity, work with a professional in the real estate industry, get their equity out, and go rent, go move in with a relative, but bank that equity and live to fight another day once all this is blown over. But
and if we're smart about it,
is here that the platforms to make a profit, but it is what it is. But they're preying on these people, and the servicing companies are not. I think they kind of have an obligation. I think it's more fiduciary than formal legal to share with these homeowners their options versus just sell this stuff out to an open.
I don't know if they're doing that, to be honest. I really don't, because I just get the inspections. Then I'm finding out later that they're being
Open Door may be buying a list from them and then going and literally door knocking and saying, hey, I'll save you from this, right? And not telling them, well, you have another option. So everybody here, and I think we should maybe make this a little segment every week for the next, well, at least for the first quarter, because we have a bunch of people who re-upped for forbearance, that forbearance is going to be coming to an end at the end of March, right? They're on quarterly increments. And so you got another wave at the end of March that right now they're thinking, okay, the holidays are over. I at least want to get through the holidays and put presents under the tree for my kids. But now they're thinking, what the heck am I going to do at the end of March? And now's the time for you guys to get out and find these people. It doesn't have to be an elaborate full color super agent. It can be a printed flyer, as long as you're communicating the right message to these people, which is
exactly. And the other thing too, Kurt, that we need to do with these people, that if they do decide to go and rent, we need to hook them up with a good lender and say, okay, so your goal right now is 6 months or a year as a rental. Hook them up with a good mortgage lender, so that lender can stay in touch with them every couple of months and say, okay, what are you doing to pay your bills? How are you? Because you lenders are really good about helping people, because you think, unlike agents, you think far in advance. You think 3, 6, 12 months down the road, hey, I've got this pipeline of people that are going to buy. Real estate agents don't think that way, which is stupid in my opinion. I think I'm okay keeping people in my funnel because I know I'm going to have business in 6 months to a year. But most agents don't think that way. They want the gratification of something right now, and they're not willing to work with people like that. As you were talking earlier, I was texting, I have a gentleman who debated on, his wife passed away and he's debating on selling his house. I'm telling you, it needs some work. It needs some updating. And I sent in one of my investors because he wanted an investor price. And I said, listen, all you have to do is these 3 items and we can get it on there a better price for you. So we have been going back and forth. One of his options was to refinance and keep the home. So as you're talking, because him and I just talked yesterday, I called him up and I said, hey, what's going on? What did you decide? Because I met with him back two weeks ago. And I just texted him and I said, hey, I'm on a call with the lender saying rates are going to go up. Bonds are, there's an issue with inflation. If that's the choice you've decided to refinance and stay in your home, you need to do this now and not wait any longer. And he just texted me back and he said, can you find out what the rates are? Because he was, as of yesterday, he was getting 1.9, 2.1. And I don't think that, I told him yesterday when he told me that, I go, I don't think that's true. I said, you really do need to investigate, because I said it's in the high 2s to the low 3s from what I understand.
Yeah, you can go online and get those magic wooga wooga
Right.
that on a leap year and a full
They
moon
just hook them in.
and rub your tummy and and you pay
They
5
tell them,
points.
Yeah.
they tell them what they want to hear. But anyway,
Yeah.
but that's, I mean, as you were talking, I'm texting him and I said, let me ask. So anyway, but long story short, I mean, I think we should all be marketing to our neighborhoods or whatever group of people that you specialize in. I'm big with specializations. That's all I do. I don't throw spaghetti on the wall. So I'm really picky about what I do, but because I only have so much marketing money and I want to utilize that marketing money to the best of my ability. So
Right.
Shane and I've been talking about that, and Shane's got some great ideas of getting things out and marketing. So if people are not doing it, you need to do it today. Make the,
Well, that's
Shane is
the
a
thing.
marketing genius.
Genius. Yeah.
And the fact that you guys aren't utilizing him to his full capacity.
Yeah, not just a pretty face. Not just a pretty face on Fridays.
That's a fact.
Actually,
I can attest to that.
but yeah, Lydia, like you said, my marketing to foreclosure or forbearance, it's kind of it's a tough thing because we can't really pinpoint who's in forbearance. But if you're already marketing a neighborhood or you're already farming, just slip that in. I mean, it's a piece. I mean, because you just don't know. That's the thing. So,
or just flat out target it. Or hey, here's an idea. If you guys want to jointly market, we could put together a flyer, maybe split the expense, and the top half of the flyer is about if you're in forbearance, and the bottom half is, have you refinanced yet? And if you haven't, right, if they're not going to sell right now, but they may not know what they can refinance to, and we can co-market to these farms. Obviously, I can't do it over the entire valley, but it'd be a pleasure to work with you guys here that are regulars in our group.
most definitely. Most definitely. Well,
okay.
Go ahead, Lydia.
Give me your number again. It's 480. Hold on. I'm trying to text him real quick.
Okay, I was just gonna say I got it in the chat.
I see it, but I can't see it. So 480, what is it?
653 9801 is my direct line.
9801. Okay, got it. Okay, it's sent.
Awesome. Well, there was a couple other things I wanted to get on, but we're about what, 9 minutes over or 10 minutes over now.
Yeah, but this has been a discussion we've been hitting all year, and really knowing that what we've been speculating was going to potentially happen is happening. How we can help these people. They shouldn't be giving away their equity.
Right.
It pains me to see the open doors and the offer doors out there stealing these people's equity, because to me it's theft. That equity belongs to those people. And
I agree.
Having hardship, that money can go a long way to helping these people over the long haul. They may not be able to sell and go buy again for a while.
Right.
Money is going to be their nest egg to live while they're unemployed potentially, or buy that next house.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're literally preying on these people, and they probably got a bit, little backdoor deal with some of these servicers where they can get a list and go knock on those doors or send them letters saying, we'll save you. Or, we're the magnanimous folks and we'll save you.
Or a lot of those open doors and iBuyers. So in the real estate industry, post-possession was a 4-letter word. They are the ones willing to do it. And so because they are willing to let these people live in their home for another month after they've closed, it's making the people go, okay, we'll do that. Well, you know what? We can do that too. We all have investors that are willing to do that. I mean, I would rather, how I have been talking to some people is, okay, so I found out, we have now the coming soon in our MLS. You can keep it in coming soon for up to 30 days. Why can't you take the listing agreement, put it in coming soon, and then start marketing it to all your investor friends and say, okay, I have a coming soon, and tell your listing people, hey, I will package it up for the next 20 days, send it out to all my investors, and let me see what kind of investor pricing I can get for you. And if we can't get an investor to buy it from you, that you actually agree on the price, then starting this day is when we will activate the listing and get you someone out on the open street. That way it gives those people 20 to 30 days to either stay in the home, package it up, or even get them an investor or even a buyer who's willing to take it in as is condition.
Well, yeah, I was going to say in this market, as long as it's not really beat up,
right. Most of them
you're
are
going to get buyers who will do a lease back in a lot of cases simply because inventory is down, or somebody coming over from California and they'll pay full list, maybe even a little over list, knowing that they're not ready to move over for another month. Do
right.
a possession. And then they know they're going to have to do some work on it before they move over anyway. So there's options for these people. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
And unless you're talking with you guys and learning what their options are, they're going to think, these unsophisticated folks are going to think their options are much more limited than they really are. It's up to you guys, really. Yeah, you're going to get paid to do this business, but more than anything, I think at this point, it's a public service to get out and help these people retain tens of thousands of dollars of equity. People, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 can be significant. It can be life-changing, especially when they're going through a hardship. A lot of white-collar people, they're able to work from home. We touched on that. That's why I think the airlines are having the challenges they're having is business travel's way down, right? Because everybody can work from home and do what we're doing. They don't have to travel. They can just get on a Zoom and stay safe from COVID. And the companies are realizing, oh my, guess what? We may not have to pay for all this business travel and restaurants and hotels going forward. We're going to pay where we do that. So
I got a call this last week from MGM Grand saying, we will give you a smoking deal. It included food. It included drinks. It included the hotel. And she said to me, and you have up to 24 months to use this. When the MGM Grand is calling you from Las Vegas saying, we will give you this smoking deal, $50 a night with all this stuff, you've got two years to use it. I'm telling you, the hotel industry, there's oodles of businesses.
Yeah, that reminds me of the 80s, Vegas in the 80s, man, where they wanted your gambling money and they were going to give you everything else. That was my favorite time in Vegas. It may be coming back, it sounds like. We have not seen, and I know I've touched on this a couple times, we have not yet seen the financial ramifications, the economic ramifications of COVID. It's been masked by stimulus. It's been masked by a lot of political theater.
We're kicking the can down the road.
Big time. There's a lot of people whose professions are going to permanently change, and those people are going to be displaced, A lot of the blue collar service workers, they're the ones who are hurting the worst because you cannot be a server over Zoom.
Right.
So we've yet to see how this is going to ultimately play out. And this gets back to stimulus. This gets back to inflation. This gets back to how much more can the Fed do to keep rates down. And I'm not talking mortgage rates at this point. I'm talking treasury,
Right.
a little bit different. And we can have that discussion in a future meeting. But we are over, folks. This is a discussion we should carry forward because we could probably do hours on this one. But I think we'll really benefit to see as weeks go on how this continues to manifest and continue to discuss that as more and more is being revealed to us. So appreciate you guys every week. Hope you guys are having a great start to your 2021 so far. Shane, want to take us out, my friend?
Yeah, great stuff today. And thank you all for coming. Happy Friday. Keep us posted. Kirk and I love to do the show, but we love to get that relationship going with you too, as far as business partners. So keep
Absolutely.
us posted. Anything we can do. Have an excellent weekend. We'll see you next Friday.
All right, folks.
Bye, guys.
Enjoy your weekend.